Hello and welcome back to one of my last church online videos. Yes, it's true, we are bringing this entire online experience to an end, and I know you're all eagerly awaiting for the in-person service start back date, which we do have a date circled in our calendar. We are though awaiting confirmation of that date, which will arrive to us in the form of a building control certificate, and then we can let you know. Now, we're hoping to give you as much notice as we can. However, the closer we get to our hopeful date without getting that confirmation, the less notice we can give you. So, you know, I've said for the past 15 months, I'll not be pressured into giving a date because then I'll have to be held by that date. But if you know me, you know that I'm doing all I can to make sure this entire building is ready. And the teams are ready, the equipment is ready. So all I can say is get yourself ready. And to look out for that all-important In Conversation with Sunday special, as for the first time the date will be revealed. Now, what a world we live in today. Now, I don't use this time or position as a soapbox to, get into things like politics or the world according to James Clark. I've only ever preached love, and I sometimes leave you with a little challenge, because it's good to challenge yourself to make you into a better you. So that's what I'm going to do today. We've went from creating hampers and donation collecting for people around our community of Carrickfergus to suddenly being brought back into that same position, collecting, creating, donating for people in our wider community. People coming together as one to do what they can, to give what they can, for suddenly people who find themselves with nothing but the clothes on their back. Here is yet another situation that's going to affect our way of life. And yet here we are again, giving, helping, doing what we can for a situation happening miles from our doorstep. Our community in Carrickfergus is strong. The good people of Carrickfergus are strong, coming together, shoulder to shoulder in someone else's time of need. Perhaps we were prepared, having done all this over the past 2 years. Perhaps this pandemic situation taught us what was really important in life and how and what to give, even when we think we have nothing to give. Now, I remember back in my primary school days, my headmaster saying to us in assembly, he says, "Remember, children, the golden rule. Do unto others whatever you would like them to do unto you." Anyway, so that stuck with me, and all these years later, perhaps I'm a better person for sometimes understanding that golden rule, especially when I was later to learn that it was scripture and it was the words and teachings from Jesus Christ. Now, another scripture that comes to mind is from Matthew 25, where Jesus is giving his disciples a bit of a glimpse of himself in glory and about how we can often be quick to judge people. Jesus explained how it would be in heaven as he sat on the throne, having separated the nations, some to his left-hand side and then some to his right-hand side. Jesus said, "We'll be in heaven. I'll be explaining to you the righteous on my right-hand side. For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me." Then the righteous at his right hand answered him saying, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you? Or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invited you in, or needing clothes and clothed you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" And Jesus replied, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of my brothers and sisters, you did for me." Now that scripture not only gives us a massive warning, but continues on in verses 41 to 48, giving an even bigger warning to those who Jesus had separated on his left-hand side. Now I'd love to dive deeper into that, but that's for another time. But it does show the importance of judgment on earth and in heaven. Now, this scripture shows us just how deeply Jesus feels for our hurts. When a kind act was done to somebody in need, he said it was done unto him. When someone was neglected, he said he was the one being neglected. Now, Paul says even in Hebrews chapter 4 verse 15, "For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weakness, but we have one who has been tempted in every way just as we are, yet he didn't sin." When we hurt, he hurts. When we're blessed, he is blessed. Jesus, the God of the entire universe, is complexly involved in every detail of our lives. If you read on in verses 41 to 48, what's also interesting is that the unrighteous people, the people on Jesus' left hand side and separated, they felt that the hungry and the thirsty and the stranger and the prisoner and the poor and the sick, they were the least and the lowest of importance in the human race. And to their surprise, the Lord answered and said, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me." See, what Jesus is trying to get across is what you do to others, you do to me. The way you treat others is the way you treat me. Therefore, in judgment, his judgment, there will be no mercy to those who have not shown mercy. But if you have been merciful, then his mercy towards you will win out over all his judgment against you. So, back to the start. What a world we live in today. A world that has people in need, in our own community and across the world. A world in which people from our own community get together and send lorry loads of supplies and aid across the world to those people in need. A world full of good and bad. But thanks to the teachings of Jesus Christ, we can learn and educate ourselves on things like good and bad, judgment, love and hate. Like the golden rule, the very essence of all that is taught in the law and the prophets. So, here's my little challenge. It's very simple. Will you help next time it's asked of you? Will you help the hungry, the thirsty, the stranger, the homeless, the prisoner, the poor, the sick? Sadly, that list goes on, but the question remains. Will you help next time it's asked of you? See you soon.